Foundations in the Sand, the birth of the Long-Range Desert Group. With the outbreak of war in North Africa and Italy's entry into the conflict in June 1940, Major Ralph Alger Bagnold, a British Army officer and geologist, recognised the urgent need for a highly mobile, deep penetration reconnaissance force. Drawing on his extensive pre-war desert explorations alongside William Kennedy Shaw and Patrick Clayton, Bagnold possessed unmatched expertise in navigation, vehicle performance in arid conditions, and survival in remote environments. He proposed the formation of such a unit to General Archibald Wavell, who quickly approved the plan. Thus, the No. 1 Long Range Patrol Unit was established, soon to be renamed the Long Range Desert Group, or LRDG. Recruitment and training. Bagnold targeted the 2nd New Zealand Division for recruitment, valuing the New Zealanders' initiative and resilience. 3 patrols, T Patrol Captain Patrick Clayton, W Patrol Captain Edward Teddy Cecil Mitford, and R Patrol Captain Donald Gavin Steele were formed, each comprising around 30 men. Recruits underwent 6 weeks of rigorous training, covering vehicle maintenance, wireless communication, demolitions, celestial navigation, and survival skills essential for desert operations. By November 1940, the LRDG expanded to include British and Southern Rhodesian soldiers, and later an Indian component would be added, maintaining a total strength that never exceeded 350 men. Organisational structure and expansion. The LRDG initially comprised a 15-man headquarters under Major Bagnold with 3 patrols, as mentioned. In November 1940, the unit reorganised into 6 patrols, T, W, R, G, S and Y. G Patrol consisted of men from the 3rd Battalion Coldstream Guards and the 2nd Battalion Scots Guards, while Y Patrol was manned by the Nottinghamshire Yeomanry. W Patrol was disbanded in December 1940, with its personnel redistributed. By June 1941, the LRDG restructured into 2 squadrons, A Squadron, New Zealand and Rhodesian troops, with S, T and R patrols, and B Squadron, British personnel with G, H and Y patrols. Specialist units, including signals, survey and light repair teams, supported operations. In December 1941, the Indian Long Range Squadron joined the LRDG, formed from volunteers of the 2nd Lancers, 11th Cavalry and 18th Cavalry of the 3rd Indian Motor Brigade. By October 1942, it had expanded to 4 patrols. In December 1942, No. 1 Demolition Squadron, nicknamed Popsky's Private Army and commanded by Major Vladimir Popsky Peniakov, was briefly attached to the LRDG. Vehicle adaptations for desert warfare. The Long Range Desert Group primarily utilised 2-wheel drive vehicles for the lighter weight and lower fuel consumption. Modifications included removing non-essential parts, installing enlarged radiators, condenser systems, reinforced suspensions, wide low-pressure desert tyres, and Bagnold's sun compass for navigation, more of which in the following section. Initially, patrols used Canadian military pattern Ford 1500 weight, F-15 trucks and Chevrolet 3000 weight trucks. In March 1941, the Chevrolets were replaced by Ford F-30s, but this didn't work out as the Fords were 4-wheel drive and thus heavier, drastically shortening their range. Added to this, their engines were more vulnerable to sand, and so these were replaced by 200 specially commissioned Canadian Chevrolet 3000 weights from March 1942. Willys Jeeps were introduced in July 1942 for patrol commanders and sergeants. Captured Italian Fiat and Lancia trucks were also employed. Navigation. As noted, LRDG trucks were equipped with Bagnold sun compasses, and some also carried P8 tank compasses. Each patrol included a navigator positioned in the second vehicle, who used a theodolite, astronomical position tables, and maps to determine precise locations. Timekeeping was crucial. Watches were synchronized each evening using a GMT time check. One early challenge was the lack of accurate maps, particularly in Libya. As a result, patrols conducted their own route surveys and created detailed maps. To formalise this effort, a dedicated survey section was established in July 1941. The Heavy Section. The Long-Range Desert Group's Heavy Section provided logistical support to the LRDG and other units. They transported supplies, set up hidden fuel dumps, and performed other essential tasks to enable the LRDG's deep penetration and reconnaissance missions. The Heavy Section transitioned through several types of trucks from 1940 to 1943. Initially, they used Marmon Harringtons to manage logistics. As the Heavy Section grew, these were replaced by white 10-ton trucks, which were subsequently followed by Mack NR trucks. Finally, by 1943, the Heavy Section was equipped with 20 CMP Ford F-60 trucks. The LRDG even had an air section operating 2 Waco biplanes for transport and liaison missions. The LRDG briefly operated a QF or quick-firing 4.5-inch howitzer mounted on a 10-ton Mack NR4 truck, accompanied by a light tank used as an armoured observation post. However, this equipment was soon handed over to the Free French forces at Kufra. The unit was then issued a 25-pounder gun howitzer Porti. This was successfully used in the assault and capture of the Italian-held fort at El Gatafia, though the truck carrying it was later abandoned. Armament and supplies. Each vehicle, typically crewed by 3 men, was heavily armed with a mix of 303 Lewis guns, Vickers K machine guns, 303 Vickers medium Mark I machine guns, and .50 caliber Vickers heavy machine guns. Boy's anti-tank rifles and Boffer's 37mm guns were also used, though in time the Boys and both the Vickers guns would be replaced by 50 caliber Browning heavy machine guns. When new vehicles were issued in March 1942, several were converted to carry captured dual-purpose 20mm breeder Model 35s, which replaced the Boffer's 37mm, and each half patrol was equipped with 1 breeder gun truck. The LRDG developed specialised ammunition mixers for their machine guns, combining tracer, incendiary, armour-piercing and explosive rounds. Patrols carried supplies for independent operations lasting up to 3 weeks, including water, high-calorie food, enough fuel for around 1,100 miles, spare parts and medical supplies. Strategic Reconnaissance, Road Watch. The LRDG's most critical role was strategic reconnaissance, particularly the Road Watch missions. Patrols clandestinely monitored Axis supply routes, especially the Via Balbia between Tripoli and Benghazi. Operating in rotating patrols, they provided continuous intelligence on enemy movements, significantly aiding Allied command decisions. From March to July 1942, the LRDG maintained uninterrupted surveillance, with patrols often positioned as close as 30 yards from the road at night. Operation Caravan, the Barche Raid. In September 1942, as part of the broader Operation Agreement, the Long-Range Desert Group launched Operation Caravan, a daring, deep penetration raid targeting the Italian-held town of Barche and its airfield in Cyrenaica. This operation aimed to disrupt Axis supply lines and divert attention from simultaneous Allied assaults on Tobruk and Benghazi. Planning and composition. The raid was orchestrated by Major John Richard Jake Easonsmith, who led B Squadron, composed of 2 LRDG half patrols. T1 Patrol, consisting of New Zealanders, and G1 Patrol, composed of British Guardsmen. The force comprised 47 men and 17 vehicles. Departing from Fayum, Egypt, in early September 1942, the unit embarked on a grueling 1,155-mile journey across the Egyptian and Libyan sand seas to reach their target. The assault on Barche. Upon arrival, the patrols executed a coordinated attack. G1 Patrol assaulted the town's barracks in a diversionary raid, while Captain Nick Wilder's T1 Patrol targeted Barche Airfield. The airfield raid was particularly successful, the New Zealanders advancing in their vehicles clockwise in single file, targeting parked bombers with tracer, incendiary and explosive rounds. Their firepower included 3 pairs of 303 Browning machine guns, 2.50-inch Vickers heavy machine guns, and several 303 Vickers K machine guns. Corporal Merlin Crow had also developed small incendiary time bombs using Nobel's Gelignite 808. Crow and Yealands, riding in the last truck, Te Paki 3, carried a box of these bombs. As they reached undamaged aircraft, the pair jumped out, placed bombs on the wings above fuel tanks, lit the fuses and dove for cover as the planes erupted in flames. The airfield raid resulted in the destruction of approximately 35 aircraft on the ground, along with fuel dumps and other critical infrastructure, significantly impairing Axis air capabilities in the region. Aftermath. Despite the operation's success in terms of inflicted damage, the LRDG sustained casualties with several men wounded and captured. Nevertheless, Operation Caravan demonstrated the LRDG's exceptional ability to conduct long-range, deep penetration raids with precision and effectiveness. The mission not only disrupted Axis operations, but also showcased the strategic value of specialized reconnaissance and raiding units in modern warfare. Collaboration with the Special Air Service. The LRDG's expertise in desert navigation made them invaluable to the Special Air Service, founded by David Stirling in 1941. Initially dependent on parachute insertion, as in its first mission, Operation Squatter, in November 1941, which ended in disaster, the SAS quickly turned to the Long-Range Desert Group for overland infiltration. With their unmatched ability to traverse hundreds of miles of open desert undetected and arrive at precise coordinates, the LRDG became the preferred mode of transport for SAS operations. Indeed, the earliest collaboration between the two occurred when the LRDG actually recovered 21 surviving SAS troops from Operation Squatter. In December 1941, they transported 2 SAS teams for successful attacks on Axis airfields at Tamet and Sirte. The LRDG also supported legendary SAS leader Blair Paddy Mayne in subsequent operations, which destroyed dozens of enemy aircraft on the ground. Their reliability and discretion earned them the nickname the Desert Taxi Service, a title both humorous and deeply respectful. Brigadier Julian Thompson later described the LRDG's navigational skill as unmatched, underscoring their essential role in enabling deep strike operations by elite forces in the North African campaign. End of the road. As the war drew to a close, the Long-Range Desert Group requested reassignment to the Far East to assist in the campaign against Japan. The War Office, however, declined the proposal and the unit was officially disbanded in August 1945. By then, it had established an unparalleled reputation for endurance, ingenuity and precision in some of the harshest environments of the Second World War. A lasting legacy. The LRDG's legacy endures far beyond its disbandment. Its innovations in navigation, long-range logistics and deep penetration reconnaissance laid the groundwork for modern Special Forces doctrine. Former members brought their expertise into post-war military developments, directly influencing the tactics and structures of elite units such as the British Special Air Service and helping to inspire the formation of similar units in Commonwealth nations, including the Australian and New Zealand SAS. David Stirling once described the LRDG as the finest of all units serving in the desert, a sentiment echoed by many who witnessed their quiet, deadly effectiveness. Their story remains a benchmark in the history of unconventional warfare, demonstrating how adaptability, skill and courage can overcome even the most extreme operational challenges. I hope you enjoyed watching this episode about the amazing Long Range Desert Group. Please consider liking and subscribing for similar content. See you soon.